I'm heartbroken, and I'll tell you why. A lot of you guys asked me to comment about Jay-Z and Kanye and the recent lines that Jay had for Ye on 444. But I got to tell you, man, the reason why I haven't spoken about it is whenever I talk about conflicts between two people, between two artists, it's always done with the anticipation that they will make music about one another. This thing that Jay-Z does where, well, he kind of insults him, he doesn't, sort of the whole false prophet, J. Cole, Wale shit. That whole thing of did he or didn't he, or is it sort of just talking to him and just speaking in a public forum, and maybe that would get to him or that would get through to him. That's how we're changing cheap shots. I mean, that's pretty much how we've sort of framed and changed the language as far as what a sneak diss is. That's a sneak diss. I don't really think there's such a thing as, no, it really wasn't an insult. He really didn't insult him, and here's why. It's a sneak diss. I mean, we can stretch it out and we can look in the trunk and see the reasons as to why somebody sneak disses somebody, but it's a sneak diss nonetheless. And if that's what we're going to resort to, if that's what we're going to feed into, it's of no interest to me. Doesn't it sadden you? Doesn't it sadden you that you live in a world where if there was a beef between two people, and of course, when I say the word beef, I mean something that arises out of the music, and this guy said this and that guy said that, and I had a better feature, like say Joyner Lucas, for example, taking a shot at Logic, go listen to Sriracha, shit like that. Like when somebody throws a jab like that, isn't it sad that you live in a world where there could be thousands of people that would say, don't do that, like be positive, stick to the music, because disses have been turned into something negative. I don't know when that happened, but my guess is I'm gonna blame you new generation kids. My guess is that around the time when, and I'm just completely pontificating about this, but I would say around the time when Wayne really started to take over, and Wayne was the loudest voice in hip hop. There's nothing confrontational about Wayne as far as his contemporaries. Maybe Wayne had beef with Gilly the Kid and the other people, but there's never been like an established Lil Wayne beef that everyone cared about. And I think once he took over in his regime, I think that started something. It certainly wasn't the case when 50 was the loudest voice in hip hop. And if you can confidently agree with me there, then don't even bother looking in the past, because in the past is where we got some of our best battle records. I think at the point where Wayne became popular, that's when something spread, when it was just like, okay, let's just pay attention to the music. Let's just pay attention to the grind, someone's output. Obviously, tons of mixtapes that were just coming out and tons of features. And that began to be what the public was really taking a look at, and how they really valued an artist. For whatever reason, we had a bump up in 2015 with the beef that you guys are familiar with that I'm not going to bring up right now. And after that, everything's gone stale, and now we've resorted to this. We've resorted to cheap shots and really stirring up shit, when in actuality, Jay-Z's never going to make a track about Kanye, and Kanye is never going to make a track about Jay-Z. You could also look at this from a sort of a cynical standpoint and just say, well, look, he's sending a shot at him on this album because when Kanye comes out with his album, Kanye is going to say whatever the fuck it is that Kanye has to say, and then it's going to make news that Kanye responds to what Jay-Z said over the 444 album. No, of course this will be like next summer, and everybody will be talking about it. So that seems to be the tactic. It's sad when you live in a world where there are no more quality beefs. I mean, you didn't hear anything from Logic. I mean, at least I didn't. Logic would seem to me to be of that pedigree. He would seem to me to be of the pedigree of, listen, if Joyner Lucas said Go listen to Sriracha. That's his opinion, bruh. I'm just going to be over here eating my pizza in the Black Spider-Man video. God, I can't stand that thing. I'm just going to stand here in my orgy of positivity, and I'm not going to comment on what you have to say because, of course, you know, it's perceived as negative when it's actually not. I mean, it's a shame that someone that has the skill set that Logic has would probably look at a beef, you know, as something like that. Or then again, it's probably with the realization that Joyner Lucas would probably hand him his ass. But there are no more quality beefs, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if people talk about beefs anymore, I mean, this is just, you know, we're just a bunch of talking heads at this point. And D's going to keep it completely honest with you. There's nothing on the horizon when I look in the future that I see two people talking about each other and you'll hear solid records against one another. Future and Jay-Z. A lot of shots, a lot of money phone stuff. Do I want to hear a battle record from Future? Absolutely not. But maybe he could change my mind. Maybe he could make something of quality that could quite possibly fuck with Jay-Z. Now, that's an angle that could work. The whole, you know, the back-to-back angle where it's like, okay, I'm going to make a record against you that will play in the clubs. And that's a possibility. That's something that could happen. Jay-Z could be on his ivory tower and tell himself, you know, there's a disconnect. We don't call that money over here. He can say all that. But truth be told, as 50 said, you can't be the hottest rapper and be 47 years old. Because if Future makes that song and it's ringing in the clubs, and that's it. The crowd has spoken. Every fighter at one point, you know, look at Bernard Hopkins. He gets his ass knocked out his last fight earlier this year, and he's, you know, literally gets knocked out of the ring because it happens eventually. And Jay's going to keep coming out. Jay's going to keep coming into the ring constantly because he's Jay-Z, because he's always going to have that MC bravado in him. No matter how many of you guys want to mask him as primarily an entrepreneur, no matter how many of you want to mask him as this great social instrument, he's an MC at heart. It's what he is. It's how he operates. So he's going to keep coming back into the ring, and one of these days somebody will sting him, but that's not going to happen with Ye, and it's probably not going to happen with Future. It'll probably happen about 5 years from now. What do you guys think about this subject? I mean, I really am saddened about the fact that I don't see the possibility of anybody going at it over tracks. And I know this is sort of an old head thing to want to see or want to hear, but all of you say that until we've got a great beef in our hands and we're enjoying good music and good shots. All of you say that until it happens, and then you all enjoy it. But please let me know in the comment section below what you feel about beefs on the horizon. Is there a possibility that we can actually have some good old-fashioned quality lyricism? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.